Hey guys, it's Tarek with Cyclone FPV, and we're getting ready to do a live build today. So this is actually going to be a quad for Jeremiah, and I know Jeremiah, I see you watching right now. So we're going to be doing a live build of this quad right here. Let me kind of zoom in here real quick. So it's going to be this one here. It's going to be the Levticus-M220v1. That's the newest one that I've created here at Cyclone FPV. And so I figured the best thing to do is we're going to go ahead and do it live, kind of go through a couple different things on the build, and try to give you guys some pointers on different things that we could do. Maybe it'll help you with your next build or what have you. So the first thing, hey Jace, how you doing, bud? The first thing is that I've got to figure out exactly what components we're going to use. It was kind of one of those things at the last minute where I'm working with Jeremiah to make this come out properly. And I know we're going to be using some Emax motors. And as far as the rest of the components, well, that's what we're going to figure out as we go. So I'm looking at the build that I did here. And I believe on this build, I used the Dal RC board, which will probably be one of the options that I pick. I need to do some measurements here real quick and make sure. So I've got some stuff here on the board here, and I'm going to, like I normally do, I'm going to go ahead and set up a split screen here and complain about my big ugly face being a big part of it. So bear with me a second, and let's see if I can make something happen here. All right, let's do a scale down again to get my big ugly head out of the way. All right, and there we go. Okay, so the build today is going to be, these are a bunch of arms that I've put together so I could sand them and buff them for final. All right, so the first thing is that we've got to make sure lengthwise. I was going to use some Emax with the Emax ESCs, but I think I may just lean towards an all-in-one. I'm really not sure yet. I'm going to kind of figure it out as I go here. But the first thing is we're just going to go ahead and get this stuff broken down and get everything ready to start the build, okay? And then I'll start grabbing components, and you guys can chime in if you have any questions about them, and so forth. And then, I know I mentioned about giving a frame away, and I actually owe an apology to a couple people because, well, a few people actually, because the last time I did a build, we lost internet, and I was supposed to give a frame away then. So, and I didn't because we never resumed the build during that time, and that was my fault. So one of the things that I was thinking about was maybe there'd be times where people don't need frames. They need, I don't know, different components or something. So I'm going to try to kind of broaden what I give away to kind of include other items. But I will make up for that frame on the last build as well. And I'm going to go back and look at the video. I remember a couple people that had tuned in initially. And I'm going to put something together so that they still have a chance to win a frame or whatever. All right, so we've got our arms here. I'll go ahead and separate those in a second. I got these kind of fused together because of the cleaning process involved. So let me just kind of get them apart here if I can. I let them dry a little too much with cleaning chemicals, so hopefully I'll get them separated here in just a minute. And then I guess what we're going to do is we'll still use the Emax motors, but it's a question of how I want to do the flight controller and the ESC. This one's being stubborn. I'll deal with it in a minute. And then we've got the rest of our components here. Again, this is another stack that I cleaned. And these are all the parts that are going to be needed to build this, new frame today, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and kind of get all that laid out and get going. As far as the motors, I've got some here, but I don't think they're going to be, I don't think I'm going to use that ESC. And then we've got to get the VTX on there. And there was plenty of room for that in this build. So I may just change this to, let me see how I want to go about doing this. I'll still probably use individual ESCs then, because this is a very low profile board. I mean, as you guys can see, it's a pretty low profile setup here, and the room is there for just maybe a couple boards max. May use the Dal RC still, and then may just set it up just like this actually. So why don't I go ahead and do that, and that may be kind of a pretty cool little build, I guess. So that's what it looks like. That's what we're going to do. Thanks, David. I appreciate it. Hey, Jeff. Hey, everybody. I appreciate y'all. So let me go ahead and get some of these components out, and then we're going to go ahead and get started here. And Jeremiah, I know you're watching. The camera that we were talking about, we're going to have to go with a micro cam because this design was actually for a micro cam. So I will definitely get you taken care of on that instead. Just need to get these. These are kind of, got my cleaning material, kind of fuse these together. So I'm going to work this out here a little. There we go. All right, so arms are ready, and as you guys can see now, this is what we've applied. One of our new patents that we've applied for is our quick release design, where the motors just pop in and twist and lock, and you just tighten them down real quick. And then, as you recall, some of you who may have seen this build initially, This is our new quick release system where it only takes one screw to put it in and take it out. You can do an actual arm change with motor removal and everything in under 20 seconds now. And I'm going to be developing even more items like that and presenting to you guys. So hopefully we've got some pretty cool stuff. So let me see, how do I want to start here? I'm going to go ahead and grab the, I guess what I'll do is grab the Dow RC. So give me 1 second, let me grab that. And then let me grab, so here's that. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. And then let me grab, let me 1 second. Well, I guess we'll just start with that. We'll go ahead and assemble the frame and then we'll get going where we need to be. Okay, so looking at the, I guess you guys can watch this as we do it. So looking at the bottom of the frame here, you're going to understand the assembly process. So we'll go ahead and cover that as well. Sorry about the beeping in the background. That's meaning that somebody's walking on the property here. So at least I keep an eye out. Okay. So in this case, the screws are colored already, and they're going to be 20 millimeter screws. So I'm going to go ahead and grab 4 of the 20 millimeter screws out, and we'll do the arms and everything here in a second. The assembly process on this frame is actually pretty simple. One of the things that makes it unique, and one of the other pending designs that we have put in place now, that's a lot of words there, is this X design, and this is actually going to become a part of our frames as I change them around. This design is going to allow you to take your quad and change the layout, so you can have a stretched X, an X, a hybrid, I mean, whatever it is that you want, H-frame, all with pretty much the same components. All you do is replace the centerpiece, and that centerpiece is used to lock everything in place so that they don't move. So let me kind of give you an idea of what we're talking about here. And some of you have probably already seen this build, but this is going to be a new one here for Jeremiah, so we might as well go ahead and get started. So as you can see, this base frame here it's pretty critical, right? Because on the base frame, this X design is going to line in place, and then what happens is the arms just slide right in, and they form a very tight joint here between all of them. When they're pressed in all the way, you end up getting all the arms to touch, and at that point, there's no wiggling at all. The idea behind it, though, is that what we will do in the future, and what's coming out next, is the ability to take this same design but have it look more like a T on the top and an X on the bottom. That way the same arms can now slide in this way. So you can pick how you want it to go. So you could have pretty much one frame doing multiple designs depending on how you want to have your arms set for that race or free or flight or whatever it may be. All right, so just getting to it now, the main thing is we've got to go ahead and get this ready, and that requires 2 plates, and that's going to be the second plate here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how this works. Now this frame, one of the things that makes us unique outside of the fact that, you know, I design all the frames in-house and I cut them in-house. Nothing is subbed out to third parties or foreign countries or anything like that. These are all designed and cut and made in Texas. But one of the things that is very unique to our designs is I incorporate G10 material, which is this material, with carbon fiber. So I'm not, going all one material, and there are reasons for that. In this build, for example, I want to focus on, and on many builds, when we start tightening up the frames and start making them smaller and smaller, the issue with carbon fiber comes into play that it's a conductive material. And one of the safest ways to assemble a strong frame that's light is to combine materials. So for example, we'll use carbon fiber for the arms and get the strength out of it there, but we'll use G10, which is very, very similar to carbon fiber in terms of strength and durability, but it's non-conductive. So that way when your boards touch it, you don't have to worry about shorting them out, okay? And so you can kind of get the best of both worlds with that. And I noticed that very few, if any, I don't know of any companies that are actually doing that, but I find it to be very beneficial for my customers, and you have no loss in quality at all. As a matter of fact, I am a very big proponent of G10 because it has a little more give to where when carbon fiber would crack or break or chip, I'm so sorry, I have a somewhat of a cold, G10 wouldn't. It'll flex just enough to prevent it from doing that, but it's very strong. And there are some videos, I think you guys remember the accidental motor cut that I did not too long ago where the thing tumbled into the concrete and the frame didn't break. carbon fiber couldn't have survived that kind of a wreck at all. So anyways, I'm just going to kind of knock this out here real quick and hopefully get going and make sure that we've got something good to produce for y'all to see. Okay, and if you have any questions, like I said, feel free to post them. I try to check the messages as I'm building, and if I don't see it, please just please just message me or shoot me an email at tarek@CycloneFPV.com, and that's TAREK@CycloneFPV.com, and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Oh, here comes my dog. So you're gonna see these doors are gonna open here right behind me real quick. Sorry about that. Hey, what's up? Let's see. All right, I need to get this automatic screwdriver because this thing's driving me nuts. So hold on a second. All right, let's do that. Okay. Once this X is in place, you'll kind of get a better idea. I mean, this is a carbon fiber X, and the only reason I use carbon fiber for that is because it's cut from the same stock as the arms. That way the height and the measurement is exact, because nothing is, the tolerance on carbon fiber is not, it's when, within I don't know, 1/10 of a millimeter maybe, or something to that effect. And so I want to get as close as possible, but it's also, it's also an extra piece from when I'm cutting the arm. So there's no harm in that. But I would probably use something like G10 if needed. All right, so then what happens next is the top plate's actually going to slide on, right? And so now what we've got is we've got this gap here. The gap is intended for the arms. So as you'll see here in just a second, once you pop that in, and this is all fastened, this arm will just slide in and out. Now I'll usually, when I put these in and this is tightened down, I may spray a little WD-40 or something on here just to kind of have it slide in easier. It's not going to cause any damage. But as you can see, there's one hole left, and that hole will actually take the screw down or screw up, and then we'll put a mount on it. But this will end up remaining very solid without any movement. There's no shaking at all, no nothing. So, but it does allow you to change the arms out in about 20 seconds. So here, we'll just go ahead and get started. So we'll put this X on here, and then I'm going to kind of mimic the build I did here. And so let me open this board, and this is the F405 all-in-one. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. If you haven't worked with this board, it's a pretty awesome board. I do like it a lot. I just recently became a Dal RC authorized dealer, and I did that because of my buddy Julio Rodriguez, who lives not too far from me here, and he actually showed me this board, and I was really interested in it. And so I went and contacted him and picked it up, and I love it. It's a very good board, very, very cost effective, and plenty of spacing to do all the work that you need to do. And it's not even a complaint, but the only thing I will say is their soft mount, I mean, these things are huge. These are not like your normal size mount. So I am going to squeeze these down quite a bit when I put this on, because they do raise the board a little too much. All right, so I'm going to mimic the build I have here, and I believe we're just going to go ahead and get these mounted in, and hopefully you guys can see okay. I can take my ugly face off here and give you this screen to look at instead. I'll do it in a second. Let me just kind of get going here, not delay any time. All right, so we'll go ahead and put these soft mounts on real quick. Well, I say real quick. These things sometimes give me a little bit of a pain, but I think we'll get it. Let me use the wider bit here. All right, there's one. Well, I said that. I guess today they want to put up a fight. All right. So there is one, finally. All right, we'll keep going. What's up, Billy? What's up, my man? We'll knock these out. I'm trying to do this without my old man glasses on, and this may be my biggest problem, so we'll see in just a second. Let me go ahead and just knock these out real quick. And I don't think these are very difficult to put in. I just use a larger hex tip, and that way it doesn't poke through the rubber part, but it does push it in without any issues. So let me just go ahead and get the next one here. All right, there we go. And then the last one. All right, so there's our board, and we'll just go ahead and kind of get an idea of what we're going to do here. So we're going to press this down, and when we do, we're going to clear up enough space, as you can see, to where we still have room for a not a flight controller, a VTX, and then we'll be able to mount that on. So that's done for now as far as setup goes. And so now what I want to do is I need to decide what ESCs I want to use, and I think in this case, I believe that we are going to go with the HGLRC T-Rex. So let me grab some of those real quick. I have a bin sitting here, so let me just kind of go through the bin. There's about 400 ESCs in here, so let me just find the ones. Here's the T-Rex. So we'll grab 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Set those aside. Put these back. Okay. And now with the 4 T-Rex set, we're going to set those aside, get our board ready, get our arms going, and we'll put the rest of this stuff away for now. I got to learn how to keep my workbench a little bit cleaner, so bear with me as I try to implement some discipline here. Not very good at it, but we'll see. All right. Okay, so we've got that. We're going to go ahead and prop open these HGLRCs. I thought there was a tab to rip it open, but I guess not, so let me go ahead and just get this open. And in your HGLRC, if you've ever used these before, if you haven't used them before, there inside this is going to be your heat shrink, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and set these aside right now and lay them out. So we're going to do 1, 2, because I've thrown this away before by accident and then spent an hour trying to figure out where it went. So just make sure that you grab that ahead of time. There's your wiring, and there is a ground wire. I will most likely not use those wires though. I prefer using a little bit different wire, but those wires are perfectly fine. This sticker off my table. All right, so we'll just go ahead and, this one has a, so we'll go ahead and just knock these out. Yeah, Aaron, I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna get you to come down here. We can sit here and build all day. I'm gonna need some help, guys. I mean, there's no doubt that you know, with my schedule and things that are going on, I really need to hire someone to come help me and at least help with the building. I don't want anybody to cut frames with me, but I definitely could start using some help building. So I'm gonna have to start figuring out what to do with that. All right, let's do this. Well, I'll tell you what, David. By default, I designed this frame. Actually, I designed this for Aaron. Aaron was talking to me, and we were talking about. I'd asked him what were some of the important features that racers needed, and he said, well, one of the things is being able to, you know, do quick repairs. Like if you break an arm, how to get it back in and repair it. Now, obviously, the easy answer is just have multiple quads, but you know, I designed this with the idea of for racers, but I talked to some other customers of mine who are like, no, this is great for anybody that's flying, because if you're out and about and you're just flying freestyle or racing, you know, being able to swap an arm out in 20 seconds is a lot easier than having to sit there and mess with it or go home and grab the parts. So I think to answer your question, I have not designed a plate for freestyle yet, but the plate that would be designed will pretty much blend with what I've got now on the in CAD. So I will go ahead and prepare this frame to work for freestyle. So just plan on that within probably by the end of the week. You will see something like that from me, and then I will get some input from you guys as to what you think. And you know, I like to definitely share the ideas with pilots and get some input from you guys regarding what features you want. So by all means, please share your thoughts with me, and I'm sure I can sit there and work on it. What is that, Aaron? I'll come down once a month. Deal. That's all I need. I mean, you come down, I'll just save all the building until you get here. Okay, so we've got our ESCs. I'm going to grab the motors real quick. I just set them aside, so let me do that. Okay, these are going to be, I'm basically matching what Jeremiah asked for. So we've got the Emacs that we're going to put on there right now, and we're going to tie them into the ESC, and basically at that point we're just going to feed the ESC. So I guess what we can do next is we can go ahead and get the arms on, and let me go ahead and measure the screws out here. Where did I put that 7mm set of screws? Let me grab those. All right, so I've got my bin of 7mm screws here. Again, they're all hand painted yellow, so I know they're 7mm. Let me get straightened up on this chair. 5'6.5". It's not easy to get up on one of these high chairs. And then I just need to check these and make sure that they mount properly into these arms. So we shall see. You got it, David. I will do that. Give me an idea. If you can, just shoot me a message, please. Let me know what kind of camera you're flying with and what you'd like to see, because I'd like to draw it up per what you're requesting, and then that way at least I've got a guide there for what would maybe other freestyle pilots would like to see also. So let me make sure these all fit. There are specific screws that need to be used, and I need to make sure that I've got the right one, so bear with me a second on this. And I use 2 different bolt patterns actually, so I'm going to have to see which bolt pattern I want to use on this. All right, that should do it right there. So let me go ahead and set that aside. Put these out and just get the arms ready. And then let's see, what else do we need to do? Give me 1 second here. Verify I got everything else I need. That should be all right. Okay. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and mount the arms in and kind of get this thing going so I can put the ESCs on the arm. So let me see, in this case I am using a 16mm screw. So we'll go ahead and mount that from the bottom. Oh, thanks, man. It's a fight right now, I'm gonna tell you that. But thank you very much. I'm trying my best to, you know, kind of make it through this crap that the courts are doing, and also help some other folks out at the same time. But I appreciate your support with that. We'll hopefully see some positive stuff soon. All right, let's get this out of the way. Let's get going. Okay, so once we get these arms put in, I'm just going to kind of give you an idea of how easy they are to work with. All right, so I mean the biggest issue is that all you've got to do is remove this screw, right? So, and I'll give you a demonstration. I demoed it before, but I know some of you all may missed it in the first build, so it's no harm to just do it again. And kind of give you guys an idea. As a matter of fact, I can probably pull the one that's complete on my bench here and do that. All right, so we got one more arm to go. And as you can see, I mean, this is pretty much the idea behind it. So, you know, if you were to, I guess it'd be easier to just kind of do a demo like this. So let's say this is the arm that you've got, right? And it's broken, right? So I mean, I hate to cut this thing up right now, but I guess it is what it is. So this is basically what we do. So I've used zip ties here, which aren't a big deal. And this is not a normal motor that most people would use, because this is the Black Widow motor that I demoed to you guys, where all the the ESC is actually built into the motor. But assume this is it, right? So ideally, now I'm not set up to do this right now, but ideally what you would do is you would basically just half twist the screws under the motor, okay, just like this, and then you would come over here and you would remove this screw right here, okay. Sorry, let me get on here. So you're going to remove the bottom screw on the arm, right? And so once you remove that, first, the motor is going to twist. Now, because this is an ESC built in, but you see how I did this? Motor twists and just pops out. There's no need to remove the screws, and you just pull the arm out. There you go. Take your broken arm, put it out, put the new arm back in, just like that. Go ahead and bolt it back in. All right. And then take your motor, put it back on the slots where it came from, just like this. Okay, line it up, and you'll see how that lines up underneath here. I just gotta, because the ESC is built in, it's a little harder with the wires there. But sorry, hold on, let me get that lined up. So you would line it up, and then you just twist it. And once you twist it back in, just tighten them down. That's it, and you're done. This thing is ready to fly. And that is now if you want to do it quickly, I mean, I wasn't set up to do this. I was just just decided to do it last minute so I can give you guys an idea, but that's it. Arms in, and the arm is solid. It's not budging at all. And that's it. You twist and lock your motors, screw them back in, and you're done. The cool thing is you never have to take the screws out of your motors again either. Now, I've somehow shifted an ESC out of my table. Must have pushed it out when I was doing all that. And that was the idea behind it, was how to make it faster and better for pilots in general. Racing was the intent, but it seems to be catching the interest of people who, you know, aren't racing, and I would be one to use it. So, and I don't really race. I don't even get to fly actually, but I will eventually. Yeah, so that's a fast arm change, and you know, as you get used to it and you're prepared for it, man, you can do it quickly. All right, so let's get this last arm put in. Let me get that in there properly. All right, there we go. One of the key factors, one of the key elements of this design that keeps that arm from shifting is, unlike a lot of other frames that you'll see out there, these holes are literally cut to be threaded by the screw when it goes in the first time into the carbon fiber in G10. There is no wiggle room for these holes at all. And even without fastening the screw down, I mean, I've literally got these arms with nothing except a screw going right through. And I wish you could see, I mean, I wish I could give you a better idea of this, but I mean, I'm trying to turn this thing or make it budge, and I'm not getting any movement at all. I mean, there's nothing, and that's without any bolts holding it in place, okay? I mean, with any fasteners holding it in place. That's one screw holding it, but that X design and the fact that the X is mounted in here makes it very solid, all right? So that's a design we came up with. Hopefully, while we're in patent pending process, people enjoy it, but you never know. All right, so we're at this point now, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with the ESCs. We do know, and you know, I'm thinking these arms may not be the ones I want to use for this build, but let me check something else out here real quick. I just want to see, because there are two different, here goes. Here's where I start losing everything that's on my bench here. Let me just check this out real quick as well, just to see. I want to, because I cut two different bolt patterns, and I want to make sure that I'm using the one that's more ideal for this. So I'm going to check real quick. So give me 1 second, but let me just check. All right, Aaron, no problem, no problem. I know you got stuff going on, brother. You do what you got to do. All right, so as you can tell, I mean, I'm trying to unscrew this thing, and this screw, I mean, it literally threads itself into, if you'll notice, watch when I tighten it. I mean, this screwdriver is going to automatically start skipping. This sucker, I mean, that's tight. It's threaded itself in. That's how you drill these holes. This is the best way to do this. I mean, it basically puts enough force on those arms to hold them in place. I mean, but the reason most people don't do that is because of the fact that it requires the change out of the bit when you're cutting carbon fiber or G10, which takes time. But since I make each frame myself, I've got the time to do it. That's why you guys usually will have to wait 1 or 2 weeks to get a frame, because I mean, I'm cutting them as we go. All right, so let's see if I prefer this one. Okay, I think this is actually gonna be better. The only thing that I did find is that there are some, depending on the manufacturer of the screws, and I'm noticing this now, so I'm gonna have to start paying close attention. Some of them use really, their tolerance for measurement on the screw head is not where it needs to be, and so some of these are actually wider and some aren't. But if you want to see, like this one here, looks like it might be wide. Not the Stealth, David, not the Stealth, not yet. I'm working on it. As a matter of fact, I'll probably bring back the Stealth design next week. I'm really excited about it, and it's going to be pretty phenomenal. But I just remember, you remember back then, you start doing new designs, and people weren't really receptive to things that were different, so we kind of held off for a little bit. But I think now everybody's kind of ready for it. So anyways, I am going to go through and only have the screws provided by the manufacturer that actually has the highest tolerance on the screw head. So don't worry about you guys having that issue. I have about 10,000 7mm screws in stock here, and I've got to go through all of them to find out which one is the one that did it right. All right, so once you get it right, and these are going to be the arms that we use. So this is actually the better arm, but I mean, this is where this comes into play so good then. So I'll just go ahead and take this out. And these arms are actually made for the F80 motor. I changed everything up a little bit, but there you go. I mean, it's all it takes is 2 seconds to swap it out, and this one will go right in its place. And they're all universal, so they all fit the same bolt pattern, so you don't have to worry about that. So that'll be nice. The other thing about this is the fact that, and I know Bryce asked me about this not too long ago, is one of the benefits of this frame design and this arm design is that you can actually change the arms out and go with like a 7-inch arm or a 6-inch arm. So you do get a lot of versatility with this, all right? And there's a new quick release wiring that I'm doing. And when you guys see that, I think you'll be really happy with it. But that will allow you to basically take your motor, and I mean, you could just take the motor out and swap it in seconds without having to do any soldering. So again, that's something else that we're going to be hopefully applying for, but you know, everything takes time. So I'm doing the best I can with the time that's given. And hopefully we'll have something soon. Now I got to find out, where did I pull those arms from? Let's see. I think maybe there was more than 2, I thought, but we'll see. If anything, I'll do 2 and then I'll cut the other 2. No big deal. You got it. David, I'm going to tell you what, bud. We're going to do a prototype again, and it's going to be beast mode, man. I tell you that. But this time, maybe there'll be less naysayers who realize that, you know, it's not, just because it's not the norm doesn't mean it's bad. All right, let me find the arm that I needed. Now I'm confusing myself here as I'm yip-yapping. No, that's not it. So this isn't the bolt pattern. So these may all be the same. Now I don't know where I've put them. So it looks like I might just have one arm running for the time being, unless this is it. I'm getting too confused with all the parts that I've cut recently. But in either case, I won't delay this much longer. I'll figure it out one way or the other. We'll just cut some new ones if we need to. But there is a specific bolt pattern for this that I want to use, and these are not seeming to be it. So let me just see. Yeah, those are the same. And those are the same. Come on. Maybe I didn't cut some new ones. Yeah, I'll just have to cut them today, which is fine. You guys can, I'll do a live cut later, maybe, perhaps. Let's see. Let me just try to match these up real quick. Sorry, I just want to make sure that I've got everything. Okay, it looks like all these are the same bolt pattern. So luckily and unluckily, it looks like the only one I've got available is this one. Let me just make sure. Yeah, they're all going to be off by just a bit. All right, so let me go ahead and get this ready. And I'll put the other arms on anyway because the measurement is going to be pretty much the same. I was just hoping that this would do it, but it does not look like it. All right, well, we'll be back to the cutting board shortly. Yep, okay, so let me go ahead and tighten that one down. And to tighten these down, we're basically going to use our standoffs. So in this case, I think I'm using 25 millimeter standoffs. I believe it's 25 millimeter. Let me make sure. Or maybe 20 millimeter. No, this is going to be 20, I think. All right. So to do this, it's really simple. All we're going to do is just put a standoff here. And this actually is what's going to link the whole frame together and give it strength. So between the standoff, the aluminum standoff, you're going to be set. All right. Now, like I said, I am going to go ahead and put the arms on anyway, even though I'm probably going to end up cutting new ones because of the bolt pattern. But to get the whole wiring down, I can just do this part at least, so I've got all the ESC spaced properly and all the wiring done for that. And then I'll finish the rest of it out later on. All right, so let me go ahead and I'm just going to grab 2 arms in and just kind of get them on there so we can get going. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate you guys, and I do appreciate your support. I got to tell you, you guys put up with a lot from me, especially with my schedule and all the court stuff right now, and I know it can become a pain for you guys, and I apologize, but I do appreciate the support of letting me tend to my family stuff and then giving me a chance to get back here. My goal is to always have everything done on time, obviously, but sometimes, you know, sometimes things just come up, but I appreciate it. All right, so like I said, even if we're going to cut new arms, which is fine, that's not an issue, what we can still do is complete the build itself and get all the wiring done and get everything spaced out properly, and then you guys can kind of get an idea of what we're working with. So let me put this one aside, put this spacer out here, and then this is basically what you're left with, right? So you've got the arms in place, and these do not need to be here right now. I'm just putting them on there so you guys can see. As far as the ESCs go, I know that and I have a measurement, I have a notes here from the last build. If I can find a notebook that I put them in. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find that notebook real quick. That notebook has the exact length of the wiring. It's right here. Okay, so the last time I did the build, which is this one, we know that, and I do this, and I recommend you guys do the same thing. So we're going to cut the wires down, and we're going to save the wiring. This is when I did the F80 build, which is sitting on the wall back there. So we're going to cut the wire down to about 35 millimeters, and use that to the SC. All right, so that should work out fine. So to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, we've got the motor here, right? And so we'll go ahead and just measure and get an idea. And the measurement of this motor is going to be, of this cut, I'll just take the ruler and we'll make notes. That way, if you do it as a do-it-yourself kit, you'll get an idea of exactly how much wire you need. So in this case, I believe that this is going to most likely sit right about here. And so I am going to measure out at about, probably a little bit longer than I should, but I'll measure it at 20 millimeters for now. And one of the tips that I gave you guys, which you can use, you don't have to use, no problem, but if you wanted to, you know, use a length, you know, always be exact on your length, I suggest you get something like this heat shrink here, right? And in this case, I'm going to grab, oh, I don't know, let me grab a piece that I won't be using much of. I'll take this white one right here. All right, let's see how long this white one is right here. So this white one's about 20 millimeters, all right? So cool, I'm just going to use that. That sounds pretty fair. So let me go ahead and drop this down, and let's see what we got. It's too small. Let me use them a little bit wider here. I spent the weekend sorting out my heat shrink. That's a real pain in the butt, but I did it, so now it's easier for me to find it. So slide it over, and you figure out where you want to be on measurement. And I'm going to measure this at, like I said, about 25 millimeters. So I'll mark it here at 25, right? And so what I suggest you do is you take your ruler, mark your 25 millimeters, all right? And all my stuff is missing, so let me grab a pen. And this is just for consistency purposes, right? Just so that you always cut these things the same way. Go ahead and draw a line, and that will be your 25 millimeter measurement, all right? So from this point forward, wait, what's it? Do you have trouble with the arms breaking on the... No, not at all. I have not had an issue like that yet. But I will tell you, Paul, I'll tell you that I anticipated if there was a problem like that, assume there was. I have not seen it, and I've tried to smack the crap out of it. But again, I mean, I'm sure there are instances I have not tested yet. But I did take that into consideration, and what I thought about was a very simple solution for it would be to incorporate a bottom, a very thin aluminum cut on the bottom, which would basically hold it together. So if I do find that that's the issue, then I will go ahead and incorporate it. But so far, I haven't seen anything like that. But you know, time will tell. I don't see it being an issue right now. I haven't seen it an issue, but that doesn't mean I would bet my life it won't be. I have a solution if it is, and like I said, that would be very, very thin aluminum plate, very thin. That would just basically seal that up, just so that it didn't happen. But I haven't seen it yet. All right, where am I at now? Okay, yeah. So we're gonna cut this now. We're gonna cut all the motor wires to 25 millimeters. So let's go ahead and do that. And this way, we're gonna keep it all uniform. So you cut one, and it just makes it quick. Now you just go ahead and slide this back on and cut the other one. And the important thing is I want to save these wires, right? Like I tell you all in other videos, save those wires because those wires are actually going to come in very handy for what we need later. So the next one, that's the same length. Okay, and there's that. And then we'll do another one right here. All right. And then we've got our fourth one coming up, right? All right. So there's that. And then our fourth one is sitting right here. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think, obviously, the thickness of the arms is going to be a major issue. I mean, you've got to go, this is 4 millimeter, and I mean, behind me, I don't know if you guys have ever had the chance to see this. Let me grab this real quick, because I'm really impressed by it, but I think you have to see it to believe it, so hold on a second. Well, you know what, I can't grab it, because it's sitting under a bunch of other carbon fiber, but behind me is an 8 millimeter plate. a huge plate, a huge piece of carbon fiber that's 8 millimeters thick, and then on top of that is a 6 millimeter. Those are going to be the sizes we use for the stretched X. I'm sorry, for the X class and for longer arms that you can put on here. I will tell you though that if you were to measure the amount of carbon fiber that's removed from this compared to a standard arm, the only concern, the only area that you'd see a significant drop in is to the center here. And because it's the center piece and not the outside pieces, if this thing could actually snap in the center, it most likely would have a problem there. But because they're all bolted and turned to the side, there's really no stress put in this area at all. So again, I won't bet my life that it couldn't happen, but so far I haven't seen it happen. And we'll just keep studying it, and input from everybody will tell me. But behind all of that is going to be something that we can definitely solve. I'm not too worried about it. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and get ready to get our ESCs ready and get the board prepped up. So we'll start with the board first, and we're going to go ahead and let me grab all my stuff here. I'm going to go ahead and get the board ready by prepping it with some flux. So let's go ahead, and now I'm going to switch camera angles because I got to use the old man goggles right here. So sorry about that, but let me go ahead and change this up, and we'll zoom in here a little bit. There we go. We'll go this route, okay? So I can at least see now that I can't see anything without this. All right, so we're going to go ahead and apply our flux, and it's very quickly. Nothing too hard to do here. All right, and then we're just going to go ahead and tin the board. So I'm going to knock that out. Let me just clean off this thing with some alcohol wipe real quick, and we'll tin the board, and then we'll get going. Hey, Dustin, how you doing, bud? Nice to have you here, sir. All right, let's get our iron hot, and we've got our solder ready, and we are going to get to tinning this board real quick. And let me get this microfiber cloth to wipe this off. All right, my bench is fairly clean, so it looks like we should be able to get going. Okay, so first we're going to tin the board. Let me get some solder here. Okay, there we go. And let's get to tinning. Now I'm going to just tin these pads because I'm going to, and I would recommend you guys that you go from the top and then from the top row to the bottom row. Let me just get my, hold on, let me just scrub this tip off real quick because it is a little dirty from an earlier build. Okay, let's see if we are good here now. Yep, there we go. All right. Now we're cooking with grease. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, they're done. Then we'll go ahead and get started here. And if you notice, like I said before, I keep my hands on the board. This way, if it gets too hot for me to touch it, it means that the board is too hot, period, and you need to let it cool down. But I try to go pretty quick on this thing to where I don't have that issue. And the only time I guess you may experience it is when you're doing the bigger pads like the XT60 pads. And we're almost done here. There we go. This board is ready to go. Now, I will not do the XT60s right now because I do think that that's going to give a little too much heat. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and tag these right here on the ground, and we'll get the LED and the buzzers done too. So let me just go ahead and knock that out. do signal 5 and signal 6 just for the heck of it. Okay, and there we go. Our board is now tinned. Everything looks good. Okay, and as you can see, I mean, everything is, hopefully you can see that. Let me see. I think that'll come out all right. So you can see now the whole board is tinned. Everything looks good. I will leave the back pads for the end, and now we can get started on the process of getting everything fastened, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is plan for our ESCs, because that is the most tedious part of the entire build. And so I figured that the way this is lined up, this ESC could probably sit somewhere in the middle like this. And so what we're going to do is we're going to measure how much distance we have. And I can switch cameras here, and there we go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to measure the distance, okay? And so with this ESC, roughly, if we take a piece of the wire, and this is why it's a good wire to save, we are going to be talking about running it down, letting it bend up. So this length of wire may be okay. It does seem a little bit long, yeah, it's probably long by about. But if you were to zip tie it down, right, and give yourself some room, it may be maybe 5 millimeters too long. So I may cut it back a little bit, but the length of this wire is going to be 50 millimeters, so I may take it to 45. Let me check my notes here just to verify if that's what I did. I had it at, actually I don't see it on here. Thought I did, but I don't see it on here. All right, so I'll have to make note of that later. All right, so I'm not going to use the wires that came with that, because I have other wires that have already been, that I can already grab. So let me just see what I want to use here. Well, maybe. I just don't like the way this to me is a little bit more of a pain. It's a little too thick for what I want to do. So you know what? I will probably use here. Let me grab these real quick. Sorry, 1 second. I'm trying to grab some wire that I know will be good for resistance, but not too freaking huge that it's a pain to solder. That might be okay. I don't think we're going to lose too much on that at all. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to... Hey, you like that, huh, man? Yeah, you're a little biased right there, huh? Appreciate you. I gave you a mention earlier for helping me with it. All right, so at this point, I'm going to get some tape, because I prefer to use this method. So bear with me. Let me grab some tape. And the reason for the tape is I don't feel like putting these ESCs on the board, on the frame right now. So I'm just going to kind of tape them in place. And in doing so, I'm just going to get them ready, okay? So there, that's all I need. Right, now I'm going to switch back here and see if I can get this on camera for you guys. I'll try to move it to put it in place. Is that better? Yeah, that's going to be better, I think. All right, put it like that. All right, so let's go ahead and prep the ESC. Put the flux on it. Okay. Go ahead and tin it up. Should probably let this flux dry just a little bit. I'm kind of racing against the clock here, so let me go ahead and prep all these ESCs, and that way by the time I get to them, all the flux is already dried. Okay, so I'm gonna let those dry while I finish this one that's under the tape right now, and then we'll get started on the rest of it. So here goes. Okay, there's one. All right, I'm gonna let that sit a minute. And again, guys, the main thing here is to get it tinned up enough to where when I do tin the wire and it touches, it spreads and covers the pads. I'm not looking here to have a final soldering job as much as I am looking to just kind of get it tinned and get it ready for the wire to hit it. And so at that point, it will cover the whole pad. And so you should be able to get a pretty solid soldering on there. All right, there we go. Okay, so we'll let that cool down. And now we've got our last one that we need to do. Need a little bit more wire for that. All right, that's gonna work for there. All right, we're gonna let those cool, and then that solder will spread once we put the wires on there, so I'm not worried about that right now. Let me get this excess solder off the table so it doesn't hit anything. All right, so now what we've got is, we've got our stuff done here, and now we've got to figure out how we want to go ahead and get this board ready and what we're going to use for it. So I think we're going to use an RXSR receiver, which is going to go over here. And let me just make sure that this is what we have planned. Zoom out a little bit. All right. What does that say? I'll have to order mine today, that quad. Oh, thanks, brother. Yeah, this is I love this frame, man. I love this frame. I'm actually using it to for all the new designs that we come out with, because I'd like to make everything pretty much quick release at this point. All right, so what we know that we've got here is obviously this is going to be our front, and our camera and all components are going to tie in right here. We're going to be using this side for our receiver side, and then we're going to go ahead and get our signals and everything set over here. So I think the next thing to do, which is the part that I hate the most, is I want to go ahead and try to get this lined up here. But if I'm going to be cutting new arms, I guess I can still go ahead and do it. So first thing I guess we will do is get the motors ready. And so in the motors, what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to go ahead and just strip about, I don't know, about 2 millimeter maybe of wire off of there, and just go ahead and twist them all up. And I would just get all the motors stripped at one time. As a matter of fact, here, I'll give you a top view of this, so this will be easier. All right, so let's do this. This may work out better too, I don't know. We'll see. If that helps, that helps. If not, let me know and I'll change it. So yeah, but strip about 2 millimeters of wire out. I mean, there's no need to take any more than that out. And if anything, you're gonna end up cutting some of it back because these pads are pretty small. But you don't have to twist it right now. As a matter of fact, I started twisting it out of habit, but I would recommend that you don't do that right now. And I'll show you why in just a second. But just, like I said, take your snips and pull about 2 millimeters off, and try to be consistent with it. So use your thumb, the top of your thumb is the guide on it. And the reason we're not going to twist them right now is because we are going to apply flux to it, and I'm going to show you how. And I have gotten used to this method. It is not what I did when I first started doing my builds online, but it is an improvement, I feel. And I would recommend that you guys do it too. If you have the material, do it. If not, Amazon has it available, and we're supposed to be carrying it here shortly so that you can buy it direct from me, but I have been too busy to sign the deal with the manufacturer. So anyways, all right, so let's keep going. Okay, and what the cool thing about this is, here's the following. Here's what we're gonna do now, okay? So you've got your wire, right, just like this, and it's exposed wiring, just like that. So there we go, right? And I'm gonna try to keep this on camera, although I'm not really looking at the camera that much. So as you can see, I've got this solder paste, this flux paste here. And so all you're gonna do before you twist these wires up is just dunk them. Just dunk them. I mean, this stuff is pretty sticky, but the wires will go right in. So just go ahead and dunk them in there. I don't care if the strands come out. I don't care if they're not stay together. It doesn't matter at this point. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put this gunk on here. And the reason for that is because the solder that you put on here then will go on nicer, and the strands will stay together better. So now you're gonna end up having to wipe your hands of all this crap, but this is a recommendation. You'll see it on there. You see the excess that's on there. So let me zoom out now, and you'll get an idea of why I'm doing this here in just a second. All right, so there's that. And now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead, just so I can get have this raised, I'm going to go ahead and now I'm going to grab the wiring, I'm going to twist it. And what that's going to do is that's actually going to force that flux into between the wires, and they're all going to kind of get stranded together and sticky and get all this crap on them because I've twisted them, which is pressing the flux through all of it, right? So you end up with something that looks kind of like that, okay? Then you get over here with your solder. And oops, you guys can't do that, I guess. Well, sorry, but old man glasses are needed, so let me just kind of go that route. So I'm going to do this, and then you're just going to hit it. When you look, make sure all your strands are kind of twisted now, and then just go ahead and solder it up. And you're going to end up with a really nice pre-tinning here that is going to make this wire look really great. Right? It's going to be very strong, and it's going to spread smoothly. I mean, the whole thing just looks 10 times better, and it will actually solder better. So there you go. So this is the overall goal that you're looking for, looking to achieve. And let me see if I can give you a better shot of that. Okay, so what I did was after I put that flux on there, right, I went ahead and tinned this. And what I can tell you is the solder seems to adhere a ton better, and the wires stay together better. So this is a practice that I started doing, and I really like it, and I would recommend that you guys do it too if you want to get that really good solder on the wiring pre-tinning, and then when you put them together, it's going to come out really nicely. So let me just kind of show you what we're working with on that. I'll go ahead and tape this back down again, and get my tweezers, and here we go. Yeah, I'm going to need the old man glasses again, so sorry. Here we go. Okay, so the idea here is make sure to start with the middle wire first so that you're not giving one side more than the other. So line it up, and it's going to be really quick, and there you go. You're done. All right, and that solder took really well. And then just go ahead and grab whichever side you want to do next. I'll do this side because I don't want to cross over. So I'm going to go ahead and get that ready. And it's done. I'm going to come over here and get this one ready. Oh, my tape is not holding, but there we go. And we're done. Okay, and this is the outcome. So as you can see, and I will change the camera angle again so you guys can see that better, but this is kind of what you want. So it's a very solid connection. There's not a lot of solder put on there. There's no excess solder. All right, and it took really well. I mean, the sucker's on there really well. So that part's good to go, and that's what we're going to do on all of these. So I would definitely use this method if you want. Thanks, Guy, I appreciate it. I would definitely use this method. I mean, it doesn't really take that much more time, but when you talk about the strength of the connection and the solder and the quality, this is going to be night and day difference in my opinion. So try that, and like I said, you're just going to get this crap all over your hands. It's a big deal. I don't know anybody that walks out of here looking like they're ready to dine at a 5-star restaurant after a build. So I wouldn't worry about it. Okay. All right. So now these are ready. So I'm just going to repeat the process and try to knock that out pretty quickly. And we'll get started on the rest of this now. So let me grab another ESC. Hey, you're actually, I mentioned that earlier in this this build. I mentioned that we had the first live build and then we lost internet connection. And so what I said was I was going through I mentioned it today, by the way, that we're going to be going through the viewers and actually going ahead and we never gave the frame away because I never got back to get the viewers back for the finish of the feed. And so we're doing one today for this one, and then we'll go through that video and announce the winner of the other one. So hang tight and you'll see that. Oh, whoops, I forgot to tin this shortly. Yeah, that day that we lost the internet, we were having terrible storms out here, and it was just not possible to get everything done. All right, let me just tin this up. And I think, you know what, in this case, I would say this one's a little long. I mean, not by much, though, but just by a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and just cut that off real quick. And then start with the middle one. There you go. And then we'll take the left one again for me. We'll go left first. Okay, and then go to the right. And we're done. There's another one. It's good to go. And we'll get the next one done here. Next ESC. And the last one. You got it, brother. Yeah, I didn't forget about it, man. I did that video, and then honestly, I have been so hammered with some things that I don't think I've done another video since, and that's my fault. I just got caught up in a lot of stuff, and so I will be getting back with you guys on that one here shortly, I promise. I'm going to go through the list of people that tuned in on that one, and then contact all of them to make the announcement and give everybody a chance to have an equal chance to kind of win one of those frames. All right, so yeah, don't worry, I won't forget, I promise. All right, let's get this last motor done. I gotta get some new tweezers too, because these are just kind of sucking at this point. All right, all 4 motors and ESCs are done. And now we can go ahead and start messing around with how long we want to make our wiring for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this motor up real quick. Let me go ahead and do this and zoom out so that we're not all going crazy here. There you go. And let's bring that over. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just get a couple screws here just to hold the motor in place. That's all I need really, just to kind of give it a reference for the length of the wiring. Let me get this out of here, because once we do one, they'll all be the same. All right, so all right, so setting this up, we can see where we're at with the wiring, and we can see how much more we need. And if I had to guess, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I would probably take it to whatever this number is right here. So let me go ahead and snip this off and see how long this is. This may even be still too long, but okay, about 40 millimeters, okay? So we need 40 millimeters worth of wire length here. And what we do know is we've also got our signal and ground wire that comes with it, so we're going to go ahead and get that ready as well, and that should pretty much match the same length that we're going to do for our power. So let me go ahead and power and ground. All right, so let me go ahead and do that and see if I can find a little bit. Let me see how I want to do this. Bear with me 1 second. I tend to not always use red for power, so I want to see if I've got an option here. And let me see where my options are right here. All right, so this should be about right. 40 millimeters, okay. Now it's a matter of finding all the wires that match. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started by using these wires here, and these happen to exactly be 40 millimeters. Golly, it's just meant to be. All right, so because it's already cut and tinned on this side, and that's gonna be kind of a larger pad. Oh, there is one thing though I forgot, is you have to cross these over. So we're just gonna go to, no, we'll go a little bit longer than that. We'll go to like 50 millimeters, I guess. I do not want to use this here for this. It's just too big of a wire. Here, we'll try this one. Let me just see where we're at with this. And again, the same thing, when you're getting this ready, just go ahead and drop the wires in your flux paste here. There you go. Twist them up. Get them pre-tinned. And we're going to test this length and see if this is right. And if it is, then we'll use that as our guide for the wire length. And I see you guys are now staring at the old man goggles, so we'll just kind of do that real quick and see if we can get you something there. All right. I don't feel like putting these down any, so let me just make a quick little thing out of this. And that can hold the wire for me while I tin it. Don't have time to get these little alligator teeth out. All that formal stuff. Let's just kind of get this going. All right. All right, let's see if this will work. I think it's going to be a good length, and then I'll tend to the wire later. So, first thing will be to take this motor off and see if this is going to be a good length to use. We'll set that aside. Here we go. Okay, and let me find another one. And of course, it's going to be a pain now. Let me see. There we go. Should be, yep, that's it. So let's go ahead and strip that. Oh, sorry, Bryce. Let me look at that. Yeah, you know what? You're right, Bryce. Double-sided tape. My Gorilla Tape is a pain, but yeah, I guess that would work too. That's not a bad idea. I don't know the heat on the double-sided tape, what it takes. I know that this masking tape will show me very quickly if it's getting too hot, but I'm sure that works too, man. Nice job. All right, let's get going. Let me just tin this one up real quick. All right. There we go. Okay, so I think those wires are going to be long enough, but we're going to go ahead and test it just to make sure. Do not want to get too caught up in cutting the wrong wires and then I'm stuck. So let's go ahead and see. Let's go ahead and put this here. Put one screw to hold it in place again. I don't like that screw. I'll go with an 8mm screw this time. Let's just see if we can get this mounted. So there we go. All right, so the idea being that we are going to end up crossing over because your positive for this ESC is right here and your ground is on the other side. So, I mean, and your positive is on the other side. So these actually are going to cross, all right? And so this wire is going to be somewhat long, actually, but it'll allow me for some play to zip tie it down. So I'll give you an idea of what we're talking about here. Let's go ahead and knock this one out, and then we can get an idea of how this is going to work. Okay. So I want to tin this one up just a little bit more before I solder it. Go ahead and get that ready. So I would say that because we're going to zip tie these down, I think this is actually going to be a very good length. And then what we're going to do is we've got our ground and our signal, and those are going to pretty much be the same length as that, because what I want to be able to do is fasten these down and do all that. So now I'm just going to take these off because I don't want them on right now. I still have to put the heat shrink on and stuff, but let me just, for measurement purposes, I think that this is actually a good length. So let me go ahead and take that off, and then let me go ahead and take this one off. All right, we'll just clean that up a little bit. There we go. All right, so we've got our length here, and I'm going to make note of it so that anybody's doing a DIY build, you know exactly what length you want to work with. And then we'll just go ahead and mock that up for the rest of the ESCs, okay? Hey, thanks guys, I appreciate that. I appreciate you. I appreciate the compliment, Jason, thank you. All right, so let me clean this wiring up real quick. I kind of left it in a mess just because I was trying to get this out. Let me go ahead and do that. There we go. Okay. And now let's go ahead and get the signal wire on there as well. And we need to measure this real quick. So we're going to say that the wiring needs to be 40 millimeters. That's about right. So if you have a 40 millimeter piece of heat shrink, then you can use that. Now I don't remember if I did or not. I'm going to check to see what I have here. That's 35, which is probably what I used on the last build. But I'm going to go ahead and just pull one anyway and make a 40 on it. So what was the last one I did? That was 25. All right, so like I said before, the way to make this go quickly is to just go ahead and mark this like here and write 40. And that we'll use from this point on for any other builds that we do. So just go ahead and cut that, and there's your somewhat straight 40 millimeter build, 40 millimeter measurement right here. And so when you're doing the wiring, and since we're going to be kind of doing some wiring for a little bit, I can go ahead and go from the top view now. So just go ahead and measure your 40 millimeters, and there you go. So it makes more sense when you have more wire to use than just this, but at least you know that all the wires are going to be the same length, okay? So let's do that. Cut that one. We'll do it again. No, I wouldn't really do it for this. I mean, this would have been easy just laying them side by side, but I'm kind of a creature of habit here. So once I do it all the time. That way I don't get lazy and not follow my same instructions. So one wire will pretty much give us everything that we need, and then we'll just save the rest of the ESC wire that came with this. And you know, one of the things I'll tell you is when you get these things, if you're not going to use them, right? If you're not going to use these clips, or you don't think you have a use for them, save them. Because I'm going to tell you what, just now I ended up using these to do the FrySky firmware update clip into the transmitter. You'd be surprised all the little junk that you can save and actually do something with. So, all right, let me go ahead and get this done. And you're going to tin these up pretty much the same way. So strip them real quick. And you don't need much. You don't need to take much off here. Probably take a little bit more though, because you want to be able to grab it and twist the strands, right? So, but not freaking rip the whole wire out there. All right, so take them. You can separate them first because you're going to end up twisting back up. Go ahead and dip them in here like we were doing before. Twist them and just spin the wire. You know, get yourself a nice, get them all kind of twisted up there, good. And then to the other side. This is the tedious part of the build, but it is a necessity, I guess. All right. So while we're doing this, we can talk about this frame giveaway, okay? So let me get the detail. Let me make the details real clear, because God knows the last time we did something, which was that where you text and get a text and then you put it on Facebook, man, that exploded, and some people get pissed off because they thought their texts were first. I mean, whatever. Anyway, so to make this clear, what's going to happen is I'm going to give you guys a chance. I'm going to basically, during the video, I'm going to write down a number and I'm going to put it in an envelope, or I'm just going to write it down. I don't care. You guys need to start, you guys can start sending me the numbers or whatever, and whoever gets closest without going over wins the frame. Now, that's all great, but please understand that there is a 2-week build out for these frames, okay? So don't expect it to be in the mail tomorrow. I mean, I've got to do it by hand. So I'm not going to sit here and run 100 of them through the machine. And you know, they got to be sanded and final cuts by hand and stuff. So please understand that your frame will not leave here for probably 2 weeks. All right, but if you're willing to wait, I promise you, you'll like the frame. All right, so there's one set of wires there, and we're going to keep doing this. So might as well go ahead and get started on the numbers here. You can put your number, and you're going to need to just kind of shut up, David. You're going to need to kind of pick a number, and what I'll do is I'll do a number between 1 and 100. All right, now before anybody puts the number up, let me just get a pen, which is right here. Let me get this piece of paper, which is right here, and I'm going to write my number back here. Now, do not write your number yet. Yeah, David, real comical. All right, so I'm going to label this for the what is today, the 27th, 28th, whatever, 19 giveaway, okay? All right, guys, so here's the deal. It's a number between 1 and 100, and I'm going to write the number 64. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I've got my number written down and circled, okay? And it's right here. And you'll have to just trust me, I'm part of this, okay? I'm not going to sit here and have to defend my honesty. I've written the number down. It's in there. You guys have until the end of the build to pick a number that you want between 1 and 100, okay? And once it's on there, please note that you're responsible to scroll and see if anybody put the other number. I can't do anything about that. If you do put a number that somebody else put before you, it will not be counted. Only the person who puts it first will get. All right, so if David puts F and Julio puts F, well, then David gets F because Julio did it second. Okay, understand? Good. So you got between 1 and 100, guys. All right. How the hell did both of you put the same number? David, shut up. I mean, seriously, you two guys, first two numbers are identical. God, y'all are killing me. Somebody come up with something. Well, I mean, Julio, Elvin, I got his first. So, Julio, you're next. You got to come up with another one. But you two probably want to start talking to each other. Y'all think the same, I guess. All right, while y'all are going at it with the numbers, police each other, please, because I've got to get this soldering done. But please don't pick the same numbers because that's not going to help anybody. Yeah, Julio's got to change it. That's right. You're right. Sorry, Julio. Those are the rules. Follow the rules. Kevin, I see your number, but you got to post it on there because if somebody else gets it, it wouldn't count. So I know you can hear me, but you've got to post it on there. I can't because the private messaging thing, I mean, I'm not trying to call you out on it. I can't see it. So something's coming across saying you picked a number, but I need it to be there so everybody else can verify. Just makes it easier. David, you are fired. I swear to God. Okay, everybody. David's disqualified just because. To win a frame, Dustin. I've written a number down on a piece of paper, and whoever gets the number or gets closest to it without going over wins the frame. Matter of fact, yeah, that's what we'll do. Let's do that. That sounds good. No, wins a drone, David. Wins a frame. God, David, come on now. Nobody wins a drone. They win the frame. You're out of your mind. David, you are really... You're going to get me in fights with people. Just so we're clear, guys, it's not a frame. I mean, it's not a drone. It's a frame. Okay? David may want to go ahead and pay for the rest of the quad, but I'm giving you the frame only, not the drone. You're good, man. I mean, you have till the end of the thing. The problem is, like I said, is if two people pick the same number, the person who picked it first is the one that's going to get it, okay? So please police yourselves, scroll up, see who put numbers down, and pick your number accordingly. I can't be monitoring that and doing this at the same time, so I apologize. I'm only only able to do certain things here. All right, so that's 1, 2. I hate doing this part of the build. Just want to make sure everybody understands that. Where the hell's the rest of my wiring? 1, 2. Oh, here it is. Okay. Hey, I already did that one. Hey, things are starting to look up. Got a freebie there. All right, where's the last set? I need one more set of wires, and I'm ready to get going with this. Oh, thanks, David. Thanks for correcting that. All right, I still can't find one set of those wires, so I guess I'll just make one more. 1, 2, 3. Oh, hell, whatever. Oh, wait, it's in here. Yes, all right. And guys, like I said, I mean, I am feeling very generous, so I would like to give some other components away too. It doesn't always have to, I really don't know if I like giving frames away that much because it takes so much time to make a frame, but they are my pride and joy. So if you do win one, please take care of it and just know that I'm actually making those. They're all made by me by hand. I mean, there's obviously machine work involved, but I finished them by hand. So, but if there are other components you guys need, by all means. I mean, I wanna do some daily giveaways anyway. I feel generous. Besides, might be in the pokey by the end of the week, so you never know. It's a bad joke. It's a bad joke. All right, let me finish this off here, guys, and then we can get to putting the ESCs on, and we're good. All right, time to just get these tinned right here, and then we're going to go ahead and get these ESCs fastened. Woo. All right, that's good. There we go. Now we'll go ahead and twist these up. Actually, maybe I can put these ugly glasses on, and that way I don't have to change the thing. Hold on 1 second. Let's see if I can do this. I got these ugly glasses right here. See these things? Oh, God help me. But it would allow you guys to see while I'm doing it, so how terrible this is. Ugh. Yeah, we'll try that. Just nobody tell anybody, please. How long is it? Well, it's, I don't know. I may break this up into 2 parts, to be honest with you. I mean, I like to take a break. Got my beautiful wife sitting over there, and I kind of don't like, I'm sure you guys understand it, don't want quads to get in the way of your love life, so I may take a break here. But the building process for a quad, if you're not talking about cutting the frame, I don't know, I take a couple hours, 2-3 hours to build a quad probably. I mean, if I'm going really quick, I can do it in probably an hour, but you know, that would be one for me, not for my customer. And then testing it and getting it all programmed, well, takes a while, so probably about 4 hours by the time it's done, depending. If I'm not sitting here yapping, it doesn't take that long. All right, so there's the soldering there for the ESC, and as you can see, let me see if I go in there. Okay, so everything's done, and then all we're going to do now is we're going to basically twist these up, right? So we want to twist these ones up here, just like that, and then I'm going to always put some hot glue. I got these dorky things on my face. Put some hot glue right here. I just always do this out of habit. All right, just a really thin strip of it. I do the same on this side. And then I'll wait for it to cool, and then I'll put the heat shrink on, and then when I heat it up, that hot glue will spread and kind of seal off that area, which is really good to protect it. All right, so we'll just go knock the rest of these out real quick. Hey, thanks, Aaron. I appreciate that compliment, sir. And Bryce, I appreciate y'all. I will preface that these are my 2 sponsored pilots, and they have to say that. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I appreciate you guys very much. Whoops, I didn't realize I was zoomed in so much. Sorry, guys. Fight over the numbers, folks. I love this part. Hey, at least it makes it to where I don't have to fight with anybody. Last time I got my ass handed to me, so I'm being cautious now. Matter of fact, if I break this video up into 2 sections, I guess maybe I could give 2 frames away then or something. You know, I mean, I might as well make it fun, right? I mean, I tell you what, man, when this thing becomes more focused on money than on fun, damn thing's lost its interest. I've lost my interest in it. So let's see if we can maybe break this up over a little bit and kind of even be more generous today. Hold on, let me put my dork glasses on here. God darn it. But here we go. I would like to give a shout out to my boys. They won't be watching, but still, nice to just give them a shout out. So what's up, guys? Love y'all. Hope y'all had a good day at school. What? And it will be Fortnite tonight if I see y'all online. Get ready. I'm going to kick your butt. Stupid Fortnite. Ugh. I think I'm going to call this ninja guy, whoever he is, and I'm going to tell him that I will pay him to teach me how to be better than my kids at that damn game. That's it. That's all it takes. I just got to beat him one time. Darn it. Okay, let me make sure because I'm kind of running low on wire here. Dude, Fortnite can kiss my butt. I don't get it. I mean, I don't understand how these people are shooting so accurately. Doesn't make any sense. Yep. Kiss my butt, Fortnite. Rainbow Six, I like you, but Fortnite kiss my butt. And these stupid dances. God help you. If you have not been on the receiving end of a kid doing a dance in the middle of a parking lot or a mall where everybody's looking at you like, what the hell's wrong with your kid? Just wait. Because it looks like they are having a seizure. And they consider that dancing, I guess. But it is terribly, terribly interesting. But anyways, that's that. All right, so we're going to keep prepping these wires up. We're almost done with getting these ready. I'm hoping I don't run short here on the wire, but I think I'm good. Let me grab a little bit more. This place is already turning into a mess after I cleaned it up, so it's not good. All right, yeah, I've got a couple more here. I think that's gonna be too long, but that's all right. Let's just prep it up and then we'll cut them on the other end. Okay, so I've got 2, 4, I need one, I guess that's one more. That's this one here, and that'll be it. And then we get to soldering. All right. Wait, that's not. Yeah, that's right. All right. If you haven't gotten your number in yet, get it in. Get your chance to win a frame. Step right up. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, these glasses suck. All right. There we go. Now we can go ahead and prep the rest of this, and we are going to be good to go, folks. What is that? Thanks. My kids like it. Oh, the Fuggler? Oh my God. Please do not tell my wife that is cool, because it is Oh, it's pretty scary. Not really sure how that became a gift for me, but it's interesting. I've had worse gifts, I guess. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty ugly little thing. Nah, not really. I don't really get that many headaches from this, but I am gonna go ahead. Those stupid glasses are bothering me, so I'm just gonna have to change this. And I don't know what happened here, but let me try to adjust that a little bit. And yeah, that should work. I'm gonna have to change this because I gotta use the old man goggles. So let's just go this way and get going. Now, what I was talking about earlier was when it's done like this, right, and I've put hot glue on both sides, then go ahead and take this, run this through. Okay. And you'll see here in just a second where I'm going with this. All right, so even there, we're going to go ahead, shrink it up. And what you'll notice here in just a second is when I press this down, all that hot glue that I put on initially is going to go ahead and kind of bind together and kind of, I mean, I wouldn't say it seals it off perfectly, but it will form this little barrier. Right now it's going to be hot though, so I mean, I wouldn't do it like just when it hurts, but what you're going to see is that hot glue now spreads and kind of makes like, it kind of seals off the inside of the components there. There's still little places, I mean, so it can breathe, but it makes a nice tight seal there, and I can tell you from personal experience that it does help to keep the moisture out if you do kind of land in some wet grass or something. That little bit of just adding that hot glue really can make a difference. All right, so let's twist this up. A little bit of hot glue. All right, Julio. We'll, hey, text about work. Check it out. All right. Yeah, definitely. And let's get some dinner in soon, huh? Tell Anna we say hello, please. It's these little things. By the way, one new thing that we are going to be offering, guys, I keep saying we because I don't like to say me, but it'll be offered here, is the new dipping tank. If you do buy components here and you would like them to be water treated prior to receiving them, I have just designed a new dipping tank, and all the components will be dipped and sealed. Now, what you have to keep in mind is that is sealed until you solder them. So if you want us to solder them ahead of time, fine. If you buy a quad from us and I build it, we can do it. But we can still dip the components, and then you'll have to spray any areas that you choose to solder, because the solder will remove that specific area, but it will not damage the rest of it or make the rest of it vulnerable. But it is an option that now that the new dipping tank is done, you will be able to have the components dipped and waterproofed on site here before you receive them. Just something to keep in mind if you decide you want to go that route. All right, where are we at? 17. Well, I can tell you that I don't know who's got the winning number because I haven't been watching to see who did it, but God help you, if you happen to be somebody I know, you're probably going to get in a lot of trouble by someone, so please don't be. I may just have to tell you you're forfeiting. That's all right, Dustin. You should be able to celebrate like anybody else if you win. If anybody's got a problem, they can just, hey, there's my wife. What's she doing outside? I may have to take a break here in a little bit and go spend some time. You know, I gotta tell y'all, and I don't get into my personal stuff, but that woman right there, man, she stood by me. She stands by me through all this crap that we're going through. And I gotta tell you, it takes a very unique woman. I gotta give my props to all the stepmoms out there that put up with all the crap, all the resistance they receive. Because I'm gonna tell you something, she is the rock. And I love her to death, and I appreciate everything she's done to keep this family together as best as she can. That's a woman right there. So, all right, now let me go ahead and get this one ready. Press that down, get that to seal up real nicely. Good, so that one came out nice. This one came out nice. We got two more to go. Excellent. Snow? Y'all have snow? Heck, man, what is it now? I tell you what, it is. Well, my battery's dead, but it is not a cloud in the sky, barely, and it is about 60 degrees maybe. Go Texas. All right. Figured I'd just throw that in there, just to be. Look at David. David, you're David's on those numbers, man. Y'all gonna get past him. You tell him, David. And guys, if you like I said, if you just kind of chimed in and you don't know yet, if you pick a number and somebody else before you picked it, you kind of void yourself out there. So please do your best to scroll up and see what's been picked. The numbers are between 1 and 100. So please do your best to pick a number that has not been picked already. And do not pick a letter or a color. Please. That's for David. Hey, you're in San Antonio. Heck yeah, we are. It's gorgeous out here, but I hear the freeze is coming tonight. Oh, shut up in Florida. We're talking Texas, okay? I want to hear about Florida right now. I'm just kidding. We're all about to get our ass handed to us with this freeze from what I hear. So that ought to be really exciting. Oh, but hello, Florida. Yes, your bad weather is better. But you guys also get hammered with hurricanes that we don't get hammered with, or tropical storms, whatever you call them. We get one or two. You guys get the whole coast nailed. Hey, Texas. Ooh. -30. God, move. Pack up and move. That's too cold, man. That doesn't even make any sense. That's not even human. Doesn't make any sense. People willingly live in places that get that cold. That's crazy. I'd like to be in your town when somebody talks about like global warming. I'd like to know what the consensus is in your town when somebody's like global warming. Yeah, be like, oh hell. But that's me kind of being a smart ass. I'm sure there's more to it. All right, guys, this is the last motor. So let me just get this done. I kind of don't think it's practical to expect everybody to sit for 2 or 3 hours to watch a build. I mean, God knows I wouldn't, because there's stuff going on, right? And everybody's either going home or got dinner or something. So what I may do is I may start breaking these builds into sections, like section 1, setting up the flight controller, you know, getting things soldered. Section 2, putting it all together, section 3, heck, I don't know how many sections you need, but that may be easier for everybody. And I think by doing that, like I said, I can at least give some more prizes away too. I don't think frames will be the most common thing because it does take a long time for me to make one, but we can do things like motors, components, flight controllers. I also thought about something. I'd like your, oh, thanks, Josh. I appreciate that. Wait, you say, that's funny. I did think about some, but gamblers would understand my idea here. If you haven't gambled, then you may not get this. But, I thought about doing a rolling giveaway, right? And what that would be is I could start with, like you pick a number, right? And then what happens is there'll be like a prize for the person who gets closest to it, but the number itself will be the beginning. The prize at the beginning would be, let's say, a frame. And if nobody guesses the exact number, then the frame goes back into the pot, and to that frame we add one of the components from the build. So the next time we do a build online, it would be the frame plus, let's say, the flight controller. And if nobody guesses the exact number, then that goes back in, and then it's the flight controller and VTX. I don't know. I thought it'd be kind of neat, but like I said, that's a gambling thing. Like in poker, that's your bad beat pot, and it just keeps going. So we could maybe do like a small prize for if you get close to the number, but then a grand prize is if you hit the number, you actually win the quad, or you win whatever components have been built up during that time. I don't know. Just an idea. I would keep a growing list of it online so you guys could see. So I can guarantee you that by the end, if nobody's picked a number, by the end, there's going to be a ton of people watching because you end up winning a whole quad with all the components, which I think is pretty cool. But it's just an idea. I'll give it some feedback from you guys and see what you think. I think it's great. Hell. But we'll still give something small away. It doesn't have to be anything, I don't want everybody to go away, with nothing. So whoever gets closest can win, like, I don't know, maybe a set of ESCs or something. Or something that maybe I used in the build. But after like 4 videos, you would end up, if nobody guessed it, you'd end up owning the whole quad. Whoever won it. That'd be like a bad beat pot. Be kind of cool. All right, so that does it for the motors. So I think we're good there. Okay, well, so far it looks like you guys think that's actually a good idea. That's kind of cool then. So I won't start it now because I didn't announce it until this thing started. So the winner of this is going to get the frame, but since I am going to divide this build up, how about I start it on the next video set, and we could start from there. And again, we'll do the same thing. I think that'd be awesome. Okay, guys, so here's what I'm going to do. At this point, I don't know how long we've been on. It looks like an hour and 45 minutes. I'm good here at probably getting close to stopping at the 2-hour mark, and then picking up with a second video to where we can continue. So let's go ahead. David, what do you think? I think David, you're probably still on there. Let's go ahead and maybe wrap it up and let's start picking our winner. So okay, let's get out of this stuff for a minute. I gotta put all this crap aside. Wait, no. I want the full picture. There we go. Stupid thing. Okay, so right now we are at about an hour and 45 minutes into the build. I'm going to take a rest actually because I think I'm going to start losing people left and right here, and it's almost at the 2-hour mark, and we got a couple hours left on this thing at the rate we're going. So what we're going to do is remember that I wrote the number down here, right? And I told you guys, I'll be back, boy, I promise. I told you guys I wrote a number down. It's right here. I'm looking at it right now. Excuse me. So if you can give me the okay. Now, guys, I will schedule the second part of the video tonight, and we'll come back and do the live build. It'll let me give me time to clean up, too, and I want to go spend some time with my wife, and I also would like to call my boys and see how their day at school went. So there's quite a few things I need to get done. Where was I? Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and pick the winner for the frame, all right? And this is going to be for the frame now. Now, I will give the winner an option. Well, no, not this time. This time we get the frame. That's good. I was going to say, if you didn't need the frame, you need something else, let me know, and I'll try to accommodate you. I don't want you to have a frame and you have no components. You can't use it. Please. I mean, it needs to go to somebody who can use it. All right. So here we go. If we're ready to go, guys. I just showed you my number. Okay, so there are no more numbers. As of right now, David, I don't know, or Bryce, or Aaron, or anybody, I got my witnesses. There are no more numbers right now. That's it. Okay? So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you the number, which is right here. and I'll turn it around because I wasn't watching, so I don't know who this is. And if nobody has it, great. Hey, Michael. Well, you're off. You went backwards on it. The number is circled here. The number is 37. Okay. So if somebody had 37 prior to this time that I announced it, now you can't come in now and put it. 37 is the number. So please scroll back, find out who has 37, and if you got it, great. If you got 36, you're probably closest to it, great. So I'm going to let you guys figure that out. I'll end this video and go scrolling back to find out. I can't scroll through all these right now because I'm looking at my phone. I do want to tell you guys that I do appreciate all your support. And I promise you that these videos are going to kick back up again. And I've got some awesome quad designs coming out. I do appreciate the feedback from everyone. I want to thank my sponsored pilots, Bryce and Aaron. I also want to thank my very, very, very good close friend, David, for your support, bud. You're awesome. And guys, and Julio and Jeff and the other Julio and, well, pretty much everybody. Thanks, you guys, for your support, okay? Don't forget, if you get some time, go check out this website, fightfordads.com. Could use your support there. Get the word out. And other than that, I'll see you guys in a few hours. We'll do another giveaway. Julio, you got it? What? Good job. That's my man. Julio, wait, what do you mean? Yeah, it's closed. Yeah, so he got it. All right. All right. Julio, congratulations, man. That's my buddy Julio in California. Congratulations to you. I know you were talking about getting one, so congrats, man. And guys, don't forget, we're going to be doing it again in a couple hours. Okay, so please stay tuned. I'll put another post up there and watch the rest of this build, and we'll start doing that bad beat build, okay, where the person wins. Take care, guys. Y'all take it easy, and we'll see you soon. Bye.